sugar cravings are not really something that's as black and white as we want them to be, as most things in nutrition are. So we're going to cover some of the most common causes and easy solutions for all of them. So as always, as you guys join in, say hello, put your name down below, let me know who's watching and where you're watching from, and we can get it started. Now, do I have to press a button on Facebook to see the comments? No. Do I have to swipe? Okay, there they are. Hey, hello from Glen Rock. And hello on Instagram. We decided to go live on Instagram too, because why not, right? Okay, so as I'm going, obviously, guys, put your questions in the comment box. I'll try to get to some at the end. But let's just jump right in, and we're going to start chatting about sugar cravings and where they come from and what we could do about them. So the number one, these are in no particular order, okay? Just like the number one on my list. So one of the first reasons that we have sugar cravings is because we use artificial sweeteners. Now, here's my thing with artificial sweeteners. I know a lot of people are against them because of like chemicals and toxins and all that stuff, and I get that. But my main concern with artificial sweeteners is that artificial sweeteners are 300 times sweeter than regular sugar. So when we eat artificial sweeteners, what happens is we literally bombard our taste buds with that extreme sweet flavor, and it's like you're stripping your taste buds. You lose the ability to appreciate the natural flavor of sugar in real whole foods, right? So a lot of times people think by using artificial sweeteners that they're actually going to be able to cut back on sugar, because it's like having sugar without having sugar. But the truth is, in the long run, we end up not only craving more sugar, but we don't appreciate the natural sweetness in real whole foods, right? So to me, the key with sugar in general is to cut way back on our dependency for it, and not wanting it all the time, and so that we can appreciate the real natural flavors of sugar in real food. So what I would recommend there is to kind of assess where you are with it and then slowly start to pull back. So if you are somebody that does, say, artificial sweeteners and you're putting a couple of them in your coffee, start by just pulling one back and do that for a week or two. And then you take the next one back until you can start to just appreciate a more subtle sweetness. And then you can move to whole sugars and pull it back down that way. So artificial sweeteners is one of the best, one of the first ones. Just best to use regular sugar than artificial. Question, is it better to use regular sugar or artificial sweeteners? I think that it's better to cut back on our dependency for sugar altogether. Okay. See, now if you're somebody who's like, I really don't have a lot of sugar and I don't want to have a lot, so I put a little, a little bit of Truvia on my oatmeal. I don't think that's going to kill anybody. I think it's when you're putting 7 Splendas in your coffee. But you know what? So is putting 7 sugars in your coffee, right? So it's pick or choose your battle. The name of the game is to pull back on the dependency to have such an obliteration of sweetness so that we can enjoy. And I mean, really, cream, half and half, has a nice subtle sweetness to it if you appreciate the sweetness of natural foods. You see what I'm saying, guys? Okay, number 2 is being tired, right? Our bodies, here's the thing, our bodies are like insanely smart, a lot smarter than a lot of us want to give them credit for. And when the body is tired and it desires rest, and we are not giving that to the body, so your body's like, okay, well, we can't sleep, we need a little more energy, and the body knows that the fastest way to get energy is to have sugar, because it's the easiest. Your body, it takes the less processing for your body to translate the sugar into energy, right? So when your body is tired and you are not going to give it what it's looking for, which is usually rest, it will crave sugar. So a lot of times when people are like, oh, I have a real strong sweet tooth, and we want to fight the plate, right? Like, oh, what can I do on the plate? What can I do on the plate to change this? Really, it's not about what's on your plate. It's about figuring out what the body needs. And when it's tired, it needs rest. Rest or more focus, because focus gives us energy too. So if you actually take that tired state and put your focus into something, that actually gives you a boost of energy. So that would be number 2. Number 3 is, and this one is for like my dieters and my low carb people out there, if you cut back too far on carbohydrates, a lot of times the body will desire sugar. Again, because it's, it all comes down to lifestyle. But if you are exerting a certain amount of energy, if you're a big exerciser and you're not giving your body the amount of carbohydrate energy that it desires, it will crave sugar because it's a fast way to get a fix. So you have to find that place that works for your body. Now, here's the key to incorporating more sweet foods into your diet without giving up on your health and wellness or weight loss goals, right? The key is to work more naturally sweet foods into your diet. So foods like sweet potatoes, brown rice, oatmeal, pretty much any root vegetable, butternut squash, carrots, etc. All of those foods have a nice natural sweetness to them and they support the body, and you get that extra energy without having an extreme craving for processed sugars, right? So it's a good way to get what you're looking for, but also stay in alignment with your personal health and wellness and weight loss goals. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So we've covered 3 so far, right? So number 4 would be protein. And this is the one that I find to be kind of like the most irritating because both too little and too much protein has been proven to create sugar cravings. Isn't that swell? So the name of the game, guys, is always to be connected to your body and to try to listen and understand what's going on and what you're needing at any given time. Because remember, the body ebbs and flows and it does not stay the same all of the time. Isabel, yes, you will be able to watch this later. So I believe the most middle of the road recommendation for protein is 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. I've seen it go as low as 0.6 and as high as 1.2, but that would be like if you were like intensely trying to build muscle, like a bodybuilder or something. But I think 0.8 grams is a good kind of middle ground to start with. If you're having that amount of protein in your day-to-day life, and you can then use that as your gauge, right? And then you can say, do I need to go up or do I need to go down? And you gotta just be your own detective there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then number 5 is stress. Stress. So here's how you have to think of the body, right? The body craves homeostasis, which means balance. The body wants to be in balance. And when it goes too far in one direction, it will eventually come swinging back in the other direction. So I like to think of it as kind of like a pendulum, right? That swings back and forth. And if you go too far one way, eventually that pendulum is going to swing back the other way, and it will swing back with equal and opposite force, right? So that's also when you think of dieting, if you're an extreme dieter, that's why at some point we get to a point and we go, we binge eat or we overeat, because that body is like, you can only hold it out of where it wants to be for so long. But when it comes to stress, if we are pulling ourselves way in one direction and we're really tight, really contracted, the body will find the most expansive foods so that it can fall back into homeostasis. And expansive foods the most expansive foods happen to be sugar, alcohol, and processed carbohydrates. So guys, if you can relate to this, give me a thumbs up or tap the heart button, or let me know that any of these 5 things are something that you either understand, have experienced, or it's like, oh yeah, that's ringing a bell for me. Let me see on the screen. And then the last one, and this actually makes it 6, is if you're eating too much processed food. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but when you eat a lot of processed food, yep, I see, okay, you guys are relating. I see those hearts and those thumbs up coming on the screen. Type down in the comments which one you relate to the most. I'm really curious to know what you relate to. So the number 6, this is the bonus one, is eating too much processed food. Because here's the thing with processed food. It's a lot of food, it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of calories, right? But with no nutrients. And so we eat, but the brain is like, I want more, because it's not getting what it wants. It's not getting nutrients, it's not getting nourishment. So then you desire more and more and more. It's like the more sugar you eat, the more sugar you crave. Did you ever notice, like after the holidays, I don't know, this always happens to me. After the holidays of having like a little extra wine and a little extra cookie and a little extra this and that and the other thing, it's like I have to wean myself off of it, right? I can't just go cold turkey. I have to kind of slowly unfold out of that. Let me know, again, if that's something that you can relate to, like after the holidays or something, that you can't just all of a sudden go to like salads and kale and green smoothies. You kind of have to like eat those leftover cookies for a few days. Let me see those hearts on the screen if you're feeling me. Tell me I'm not the only one eating leftover cookies till January 12th. Okay, so let's take a few minutes to take a few questions. Did you write any down, B?
Yeah, somebody, I don't know how, I can't remember who it was, but somebody asked about headaches. Sugar headaches when they go off sugar.
You get a sugar headache.
Yeah. What do they do for that?
So what do you do for that? Well, see, this is what I think you have to wean yourself off. If you go cold turkey, like it's going to be more uncomfortable, right? So I would say either go off a little slower or just get a big old glug of water and get some Advil and just prepare yourself for a little bit of discomfort. Or you could do it a little gentler. I'm a fan of gentle. I'm not good at that hardcore stuff. I used to do that. It never worked for me. What's your opinion on being vegan? Rebecca, vegan is like the hot topic right now. And here's my opinion on being vegan. I think that no matter how you eat, whatever diet you follow, the one thing that every nutritionist, every diet book, every expert out there agrees on, that a plant-based diet is where it's at. A plant-based diet. So the base of your diet being rooted in plants is a very good idea. Now, where you go from there depends on the person and depends on how you feel and depends on what your belief systems are. You see what I'm saying? So if you eat all vegan and you enjoy that and then your body thrives doing that and you feel good about that, then I think it's amazing. I think if you're eating all vegan and you really crave meat and you're not really feeling good and you wish it didn't have to be like this, but that's what everybody says you should do, then I think maybe we shouldn't be eating vegan. I think that the name of the game is plant-based diet and then tweak where needed, right? And you get those tweaks, you know the answer to that by listening to your own body and honoring your own truth regardless of what the magazines are telling you. Kabish? Kabish. Kabish. Somebody asked a question, I wrote it down. They left it in the comments before we went live. Toby Nikki Jackson, she said that if you have sugar cravings and you're trying to take the edge off with fruit, what are the best fruits to eat? I would say in that case, low sugar fruits, which would be berries, cherries, apples. That would be my top. Berries, cherries, apples. Those are the ones I would recommend the most. Hi, Casey from Indiana. Sammy, how frequent do you indulge in high calorie and or high carb food? Me personally? My husband's laughing. Probably more than you all think. High calorie or high carb foods. First of all, I think that the term high carb is like very relative, but I mean more than weekly for sure. More than weekly for sure.
What's that? Pasta? Stuff
High
like that?
calorie, high carb. I don't know. That's what I mean. I need to be more specific to what you mean.
Yeah.
I have lipstick on my teeth. Okay, Danny, how can I make a delicious honey lemon water with less honey? I would say to play with stevia. Have you experimented with that at all? Over the last summer, one of my good friends here, she always makes stevia lemonade, and the kids love it. And I've really grown to love it too. And then, it doesn't have the calories or the sugar effect that honey does. If you want to stick with honey, I would look at exactly what you're using right now. And then every time you make it, cut it back by a tablespoon. Cut it back. Because then what happens is the palate slowly adjusts and you don't feel like it's some big overhaul or like you have to give something up. It's almost like you don't even notice. So that's what I would do there.
I have a couple of things from Instagram.
Okay, let's hear them.
Vicky wants to know, here's Schlesser13 wants to know, she works out a lot and loves it. However, she's so hungry all day. Need meal ideas to help fill me up. Is there something you can quickly... She gets so hungry from working out and she needs quick ideas to help fill her up.
That's a big question because it depends on what you're eating already. You know what I mean? Like, I have to see what you're already eating. If you feel like you're eating a lot of food and you just need more volume, I would focus on vegetables, big salads, protein, healthy fats to keep you full. But if you're cutting way back on carbs, and you might want to add a little bit more carb to your diet, because if you're exerting a lot of energy, you might just need that extra bit to kind of, lock you down, ground you is what I'm trying to say.
What about water? Does she need water?
Yeah, of course. Everybody drink your water. No questions.
And then Vicky wants to know what alcohol is best when you want to drink.
Oh, my fave now. I say when it comes to drinking, either stick to wine, super simple, like a glass or two of wine, or clear alcohols like vodka, gin, and you want to avoid the mixers, right? So like some of my favorite alcoholic beverages are vodka with just seltzer water, not tonic water, because tonic water is like soda, seltzer, and like lots of lemons and limes. Love that. You could also do like tequila with a little bit of seltzer and lots of lemons and limes. So it's kind of like a margarita, but it doesn't have the mixers. Gin and soda with lots of lemons and limes. Or, a glass of rosé or a glass of Chardonnay. I would keep it simple like that though. It's the mixers that get you. You want to avoid the mixers. Okay, let's take like 2 more questions and we'll wrap it up so I don't keep you guys here all day. How can you stop cravings for dessert after every single meal? Okay, so that's a great question. Ana Gracia? Because if you're having dessert after every single meal, half of that is habit. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you train yourself, and so there's an expectancy. So sometimes the name of the game there is to level up the quality of the choice you're making. So maybe instead of having a brownie, you're like, okay, I'm gonna have something so I can slowly back my way out of this habit, right? But instead of having a brownie, I'm gonna have some fresh fruit, right? And then and then it becomes easier because it's not as like yummy, doesn't pull you in as much. And then what you do is you slowly back it up, and then maybe one day you just say, okay, now I'm not going to have the dessert after dinner. And I know that's probably gonna come with a little bit of discomfort. I totally get that. But it's not because I even really want it, it's because I'm really just rooted in this habit. So it's something to kind of watch for, because it's something you're doing every single day. It becomes a habit. And so now it's not even about the food, it's about changing the habit. Does that make sense? Okay, guys, so I think, let's see, we've gone for about, hey, Melissa, I see people tuning in. We've gone for about 17 minutes here. So I'm thinking that we are going to wrap it. Oh, I got another question here. Such a great book. It got me to quit sugar. But yeah, I don't think Kelly Keel, she said she's talking about the I Quit Sugar book. I don't know if I actually read the book, but I'm familiar with her on like social media, and her she has great tips in cutting back on sugar, and I agree with it. What I Quit Sugar, is that the name of it? If you guys are looking for, she only talks about quitting sugar and how to get off of sugar. So if you just Google I Quit Sugar, you'll find that information. Jessica, when is the best time to eat fruit? I'm a big believer in listening to your body. I'm not one of these, don't eat fruit after 3:00. I really feel like it depends on what your activity level is, when you're working out, when you're really hungry, if you're actually hungry, right? Like, to me, the biggest name of the game is letting your body be hungry and then eating to a point of energy. If you are doing that, it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. If you're hungry and you're eating to a point of energy, meaning you're not overeating, it really shouldn't matter that much. Unless you're like at a place in your life where you are, like a bodybuilder or like a competitor where you're really manipulating the body, that's a whole other practice. That's something totally different. That's not just like healthy general living, healthy wellness, weight loss, right? That's manipulating the body to do things that you want it to do because you're into how, creating different looks and stuff. And there's no problem with it, but that's not what I'm teaching. I'm talking more general health and wellness and weight loss. Okay, my friends. So as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Give me some thumbs up, press those hearts if you guys like these live videos. We're not doing the Friday lives right now, like we're not doing them every single week, but if you guys are enjoying the live videos, I will continue to work them in, but I really want to know that it's something that you want or you don't want. And would you prefer like these question and answers, or do you like the cooking, or do you want both? And last thing I want to tell you guys, if you're not already signed up for my newsletter, go to cleananddelicious.com and put your name on the list, because those are really the only people that know what's usually happening most of the time. Because a lot of times I do things last minute and on the fly, and I'm not always the most organized. And I always try to get it out in my newsletter though. So if you're on that list, you will get that information. And starting next month, we're going to be doing a monthly giveaway. So if you're on that list, you will be what's the word? You will be applicable? You will be, what does it mean? Like if you're legible? You'll be You'll be somebody who could possibly win.
Eligible.
Eligible. You'll be eligible to win, and all you have to do is be on my newsletter. Okay? All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you back here soon with some more clean and deliciousness. Bye, guys.